What means the most to you? Keeping your family or gaining your freedom? Let me give you something to think about while you come up with your answer. If you are stressed now for reasons that include how are we going to pay these bills? Do we have enough to cover groceries? Can we afford daycare or school? Can we afford to pay this medical bill? You see where I'm going? Now, I want you to imagine you handling all those things listed, but with an added legal fee, and doing it all on your own now. Because if you thought you were stressed out, lonely, and losing your mind before, I guarantee you by now you are depressed and regretting your decision to have separated. If you're shocked because you said to yourself, wow, you're going through all of this and I'm not even divorced yet? Exactly. That is exactly what I am saying to you. If you couldn't tell by now, this talk, this message is not for those that want to separate. No, 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 no. This message is for those that hopefully believe that separation, if done right, can be the glue that puts your marriage back together. I realize that sometimes separation can feel like a death sentence, especially when you're standing in the courtroom and you are like, this is the moment. I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to walk out of this courtroom and I'm going to have my divorce. But instead, the judge slaps a sentence down for you to come back in a year. So now you are officially separated. And for most that don't know, it's in that point, at that moment, where you kind of go through being divorced. It's like a trial period of you finding out how it's going to be for now on. And in most situations, it can be a big shock to the system when you find out that, hey, I'm now the one doing this all on my own. And if you have kids, this is the moment where the judge decides who's going to pay that support. And depending on your situation, it could be you. So now you're worse off trying to figure out how you're going to pay these bills. And now how you're going to pay these legal fees. Especially if things didn't go your way in the courtroom. So now your kids are separated. You have a schedule that you don't want to even think about having to kick into effect with separating your kids, and it's just heartbreaking all the way around. And so now you're mad, you're upset, your kids are stuck in the middle, and it's not their fault, but they're possibly feeling that it's that way. I mean, I really want you to think about what it is that you're asking when you say, I'd rather have my freedom Because majority of the time, you're not thinking about your family. You're only thinking about yourself. And this is a situation where you say, I've been through enough. That's something that I'm sure we can work out. We're both adults and everything will be fine. But when you're in a place of anger, sometimes there is no talking. Sometimes you can't even stand to see that person. Separation is that bridge, the in-between. For some, you may think that on one hand, you get this liberation. You're in the place in which you receive just about everything that you've been dreaming of, that you've been wondering, how would it feel like if I didn't have my spouse? Almost like a rainbow at the end with a pot of gold. But that's fantasy. Freedom and happiness and the lack of responsibility is the complete opposite of what you're going to receive when you're in separation. Because you're so low, there's no longer a we, it's broken. And you have to relearn how to do all of those things that even perhaps you thought were going to be easy, that you would be better off on your own, but that's not the case. That is not always the case. And you will have nights and you will have days that you can't sleep, you can't eat, you don't know if you shampooed your hair once already, so now you've shampooed it twice, because your thoughts are all over the place. Perhaps it is within the separation where you may feel that you can focus on getting back the life in which the right person comes along that you've been waiting for. They do everything right. They say everything right. The right things are done. It's almost like the Alicia Keys song, You Don't Know My Name. You know, she says, you got me doing more than what I've ever done to get somebody's attention. She's envisioning her first day and how it would be with this person. But I urge you, I beg you to get back to that place of doing those things that you thought you would never do to get that person's attention. Again, I urge you to do everything within your power to communicate with your spouse, to let your spouse know that I want to try, because the easy thing to do is to run. And most people run because they're humiliated, because they're found out, or because they feel like they just can't do it anymore and that their spouse won't forgive them for the wrong that they've done. But I believe that you will be shocked if you just put in the work, put in the effort, And it's not just going to be you. It's going to be the both of you to get back to that place where you say, we can make this work. You know, there's another song with Michael Jackson, Do You Remember the Time When We Fell in Love? Try to remember and do the things that you did when you fell in love. Maybe force yourselves in the beginning when it's a little bit harder to recreate date nights. And if you don't want to call them date nights, just time where the two of you can get together. It doesn't even have to be in a counseling setting. Sometimes when you hear certain songs or if you go certain places, and I guarantee it, if you're separated and you're still living in the house that you both did while you were married, that every corner, every wall, every dent, every doorknob, every cabinet is going to remind you of your spouse. Because you've created those memories. And hopefully you just don't see the worst, you know? And if you do see the worst, I hope that there's a way that over time you can overlook those things. When you're in a place of separation, it's important that you give each other enough time and space to process their own individual feelings. Because you may be ready to forgive and forget, or you may be ready to forgive, but you won't forget. And the other person may not be there. And that's okay. They don't have to be. We're individuals. We do things at our own speed. No two people are alike. I guarantee you that separation is not a death sentence. It is a bridge. And bridges are made to help you get over to the next place. And you can build something beautiful. I guarantee it. If you just try. And even if you don't get back to that point where you're 100% with that person, I guarantee it that you will be so much happier that you at least put in the effort. If you put in the work and try. Because what you're looking for on the other side of that rainbow, it's not going to be there. Or if it's there and you haven't addressed the issues of what puts you in the place of where you're at now in this very moment in time, where you're at separation again, I guarantee that you're probably going to be here again, just with a different person. You know, I've heard the saying, and I know you've heard the saying before, it's cheaper to keep her. It's better to stay with the person that you're with than to walk with someone that you don't. You know? This individual, you have put in all the work, all the time, all the effort. And if you just let them go and give that all to someone else, you're going to be so upset. You're going to be upset when you see them do better without you. You're going to be upset when they do something that you wished or hoped or dreamed that you guys would always do together and you don't. So I beg of you, I plead of you to put your family first, put your relationship first, put aside your fantasy of what you believe your life should be like, because it's not a perfect world. You're not perfect. They're not perfect.